Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this webinar, Creating a Winning Award Entry. I'd like to now pass you over to the presenter, Ross Sturley.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be on the end of the phone with you. I'd say it's a pleasure to be able to see you, but clearly I can't. But welcome anyway to Creating a Winning Award Entry. This is a short online seminar organised by Chartered Institute of Marketing's Construction Industry Group and run by Construction Marketing Events, who are the organisers of the Construction Marketing Awards. We will refer constantly to the Construction Marketing Awards, but to be honest, you can use the information that hopefully you'll get out of me on any award scheme. It's just as relevant, really, for any award as it is for construction marketing. So, who am I? Well, I am Ross. My company is Chart Lane. I launched the Construction Marketing Awards 14 years ago. You'd think that picture also is 14 years old, obviously. I am a judge for the Construction Marketing Awards and have been that since the beginning. I am also a judge and/or organizer for the CIM Zone Excellence Awards, the Construction Excellence Awards, and I've been involved in the British Construction Industry Awards, Quality and Construction Awards, and in fact 42 other national award schemes in my life. So I have tremendous experience, many long judging meetings on various different awards. Hopefully that will help me today. If you have questions, please do use the chat function and send them to Chris Ashworth, brackets organizer. What we'll do is they'll get posted to me at the end of the session, and then I will answer them kind of in the order that they're sent on to me. So as things come up, flag them up, and I will deal with them at the end. Okay. Today I'm going to take you through 10 top tips for succeeding with award entries. And then I'm going to spend a little bit of time also on dealing with the success, assuming, as I always do, that we are going to succeed. I'm going to tell you what to do when you actually do win something. So, first thing to think about when you're setting yourself up for doing some awards is to ask yourself why you're doing this. I know that might seem stupid. You're doing it to win awards, but why are you doing that? What are you trying to get out of it? Are you trying to provide your company with better credentials? Are you trying to advance your own personal career or get some greater internal recognition? Or are you just trying to win some more business for your company to give yourself some kind of competitive advantage in bidding? And I think that will help you work out which awards you want to enter, what you want to do if you win, and will help you plan for the success. So the first thing to think about is to choose the right awards. So choose, this may sound stupid also, but anyway, choose a set of awards that you think you've got a good chance of winning. Choose something which is matched to your company's set of competitive competences. It's a bit like a contractor bidding for contracts. You won't find them bidding for stuff that they will habitually lose. You'll find good, successful contractors bidding for things that they habitually win, and it's the same kind of approach. Go for awards that you think you have a good chance of winning. Okay, now, tip number one, read the instructions. In all my experience of judging awards, the biggest failure comes from people not reading the instructions. All award schemes have small print. It's very important to read it. If the small print says, please send us 4 copies of each entry on 4 separate CDs, then that's what they want you to do. If you don't, you will at best make it difficult to handle your entry and make it annoying to the organising judges. And at worst, you'll find yourself just ruled out for non-compliance, and this will mean that your entry that you spent all that time on won't actually get sent in. The instructions, they're there for a reason, obviously. If they want those 4 copies of each entry on 4 separate CDs, it's because they're going to send them to 4 different judges. So, as I say, if you make it difficult to handle your entry, you reduce your chances of winning. Second thing to think about, with the instructions is just think about your project. Is it really good enough? And actually, I'm not trying to discourage you from entering things here. What I'm trying to get you to think about here is what is really special about what you've done, because when you think about is this really good enough, you'll think about what differentiates your work from other people's work, and that is the thing which you need to concentrate on when you are preparing your entry, the thing that has made you special. You've got to choose carefully on the categories that you're selecting when you enter, but remember also that entering awards is a bit of a numbers game. The more categories you enter, the more chances you have of winning. And remember, of course, that you don't have to beat everyone in the market. You just have to beat the other entries who have entered. So you have to be the best company that has entered that particular category. So choose your categories well, but remember, entering more categories will give you more chances to win, a bit like buying a lottery ticket. You can have the same campaign for each entry, obviously, but you just need to tailor that, looking at the different criteria, and we're going to talk about criteria in a bit, tailor that to hit the right criteria for the category. Tip number 2, hit the deadline. The awards entries, award schemes will have entry deadlines. The entry deadline for the Construction Marketing Awards is September the 26th. Why is it September the 26th? It's because the judging meeting is a week later. Given that, and there is a week's work to do on the entries to take them from the state that they are when we get them to something that the judges can judge. We've got to get them to the judges have to look at them, and then we all have to turn up at a judging meeting. So the awards entry deadline, as I say, is not plucked from thin air. It's part of a schedule for a large and complex process. Hitting the deadline will make the organiser think well of you. Honestly, I always think well of people who hit or anticipate the deadline on the Construction Marketing Awards. It allows the judge the maximum amount of time to consider your entry, and if the entry comes in late and then goes to the judge late, they will give it less time than they have the others, and will of course judge you for being late, just like the teacher used to when you were late for geography. Many schemes do extend their deadlines, that's true, but don't assume they're going to. Ask the organiser in advance if they are planning to extend the deadline, if you think you will need the extra time. But please don't then put off preparing your entry again until the day before the extended deadline, because that's what you did before and it didn't work, and that's why you're in this position. Being as early as you can, believe me, will be appreciated by the organiser. Missing the deadline, of course, means you will just miss out. Tip number 3, give the judges some trust. Give the judges some trust. It may feel from time to time as if you are supplying or being asked to supply highly confidential information during the process of presenting an award, of entering an award. Usually you're actually not. Most of what you in fact put down on an entry could be guessed, to be quite honest, by someone who knew your company and made a few assumptions. Or it's going to offer not much advantage to any real competitor, because the competitor probably knows this stuff too, if they're any good. Even so, you may worry about this, and all I will say to you is don't. Reputable award programs have reputable judges who do not disclose details of entries to third parties. So the question to ask yourself is this program, this awards program, is it reputable? If the program is reputable, you don't need to worry. If the program is not reputable, you shouldn't be entering anyway. Next tip, take a look at last year's winners. These two, they won the Loo of the Year Awards, which is one of my favourite awards ever. Public Toilet Awards, Best Convenience, fabulous. Why did they win, these people? I mean, clearly you can see they won because it's absolutely sparkling and they could eat your dinner off that floor. What did they do that singled them out as the winner in the category that you're entering? So look at the people who won the particular category that you are planning to enter. What did they do? And do you share that? Do you share their innovation, creativity, commitment, excellence, their originality? What did the judges say about them last year? Did they say, they would have said these people did something particularly well? That always happens in the awards winners' books. So that's why they won. So if that's why they won, you need to make sure that you share that with them and you've got something similar in your entry that says, this is why we won, we're going to win because this is why last year's people won. Now, tip number 5, and if there is a top tip out of the 10, then this is the one. Read the criteria, read them again, and then read them again, and then eventually once you've read them about 10 times, you can think about doing your entry. There are criteria for awards. They are made up to give the judges a level platform for judging all of the entries that they see. The judges won't know the detail of all of the companies that they're looking at. They won't know the detail of all the campaigns, so they need to be able to judge them in some way. This on screen at the moment, the illustrated guide to judging purebred dogs, helps people judge dogs because they won't have seen the dogs before. It actually lets them judge different kinds of breeds by just knowing what to look for. Is their tail sticking up in the air, etc. Judging dogs is big business. Judging awards is big business as well. This is the judging criteria, honestly, for Burger of the Year, and the criteria that the judges used when they're eating the burger. Flavour of meat, bun, overall taste. I'm slightly worried by other components inside burger, possible horse reference. And here are the judging criteria for the strategic category on the Construction Marketing Awards, and you can see this is actually the demonstration sheet used to explain to judges what they should do with it, and it shows them how they mark out of 10 for the various criteria. So blogs, widgets scored just 4 for identification of a market knowledge gap or requirement to improve market understanding. They were abject according to the comments, as you can see over there, and clearly they didn't make the shortlist. The winner down there scored 8s and 9s, had excellent planning and monitoring, real creativity in the planning process, top quality customer insight. So you can see this is how I train my judges to deliver on the Construction Marketing Awards, and this is common on all award schemes. So look at the criteria. Thinking here about the Construction Marketing Awards, again, the communications categories, for example, one of the criteria is there are clear objectives for communication, and these are linked to the company's overall marketing objectives. So when you're entering, you state what your company's marketing objectives are and how they relate to the communication and the objectives for the communication. While you're at it, make sure that all these objectives, of course, are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timed. Remember, SMART. So, example, we will generate 1,000 inquiries at £15 an inquiry over a 2-week period beginning June 2014. These are objectives that that the judges will recognise and that they can then judge your performance against, because winning entries will be exceeding the performance set down in the objectives. Another one, for example, on the communications categories would be the audience is well defined and researched. So in your entry, define your audience, show that you know it. Present any research results you have which have influenced your definition of audience, or the choices that you've made in your communications. Is your communication innovative and creatively designed for that target audience? That's another criterion for the judges in those categories. So point out the innovation. What's novel and original about what you've done? Because they won't know, remember, the judges don't know all this stuff. Show how the design has been tailored to the audience. So, for example, you take your criteria and then you structure your entry against those criteria. Judges will want to see proof of your claims, so you can't just say we are the best. You have to say we are better than our competitors, and this is why here are some numbers that prove this. Here is some competitor analysis that shows how their share has gone down and ours has gone up. Here is some analysis that shows that our margins are better than theirs. You need to be able to prove what you're doing. And again, sometimes, going back to something I said earlier, this may feel confidential, but please remember that it's not. Please remember that these judges are trustworthy, and they will not be disclosing these things. And in any case, on the Construction Marketing Awards, as a good example, we manage the judging process so that there is no conflict between judges and the things that they are judging. We will not give a judge something which comes from either a competitor or from someone even allied to one of their competitors. We plan that very carefully. So as I say, the judges award scores against each of the individual criteria. So you need to address each one of them and lay out your entry so it corresponds to the criteria. And it may seem really slavish, but honestly, if the criteria are in a particular order, that's the order that the judge will judge them in. So address them in that order in your entry. And you're making it easy for the judge. This judge, who I'll have a little picture of him later, this judge has a lot of entries to get through, and the easier you make it, the better a mark they can give you. Another tip that I've heard given on this is to pretend that you're pitching to your own finance director, someone with no empathy with marketing or with any of the work that you're doing, and in fact who spends most of their time desperately trying to stop you spending money. So pretend you're pitching to them and explain the results as you would some sort of business case. So you've got your objectives, your measurements, and your results, and especially, I have to emphasize here, especially return on investment. Judges will always take a very hard look at the return on investment that you achieve and that you put in your entry, and we'll try to evaluate that against the others in the entry in the awards category, and we'll use that as a key way of deciding what you have achieved and how much merit it has. Next tip, keep it brief. Judges usually are spending their own time on judging. No one really gets paid for this, and often they'll be doing it at the weekend or in the evening, so remember that. Be nice to them. Be efficient in your use of words and space, and communicate your information quickly and efficiently. Cutting down the number of your pages actually could be really important. For example, if the judge is doing it on a train, sometimes that happens, they won't want to carry reams of backup information with them. Keep it simple as well. Keep it jargon-free. Try to, again, remember that the judge is not necessarily in your sector of the industry, because we have, in the Construction Marketing Awards, got them so that they don't have a conflict problem. So they may not be in your sector. They won't know all the buzzwords and the jargon for your particular products, for your particular sector. So perhaps define some of it at the beginning, and then you'll be able to use your jargon and your three-letter acronyms, and the judges will still understand. You need to get the judge's attention. Old Pete here at the London Marathon, he gets the attention, and that's why he's doing it. I'm not asking you to dress up like Kermit, but know that the judges of the category will be looking at more than one entry, significantly more than one entry. So just as when you turn up to a job interview, knowing that the panel will be seeing some other people, you need to impress with your entry. On many awards programs, judges can spend days reading through entries. So quickly identify yourself as one they should pick up. Crisp, clear presentation, easy to handle entry that makes it really clear why it is the winner. Because if you say on the front page, this entry is the winner because the judge knows what you're going to do, and they'll be much more interested, believe me, in picking it up and consuming it than they will the dog-eared one packed with 8-point type with the key results on the last but one page. Be arresting in your approach and the use of colour, graphics and materials, but please make the thing you're drawing attention to easy to understand and easy to praise. A good way to do that is to put people in it. People are fabulous. People have faces which look brilliant on award entries. Staff embody commitment and excellence. Look at her at McDonald's. She's so proud. The customers can say, well, you're great in a single sentence, and those ones in the middle looking at the apples, they're really happy about the apples, so that makes you feel instantly good about, I think that was Morrison's actually, instantly good about the company that you are judging when you're looking at it. Use your own people, your staff, and your customers' people to tell your story. Now, I've said I've made a lot of time earlier about how it's important to keep the information to the fore. But it is also, and this is where some communications expertise and design expertise is useful, it is important to make it vaguely attractive. It does matter. I know we're trying very hard not to be the colouring in department, but a little bit of colouring in, or a little bit of design, an interesting template, as I've said, some pictures of staff, makes an awards entry just that much more attractive and that much easier to pick up and read. Successful entries often are a joint effort actually between a client and a marketing agency. Those that are successful, in my experience, usually have the clients in control, providing the direction, often produced by the agency, but with the client in control. If the agency takes charge from the beginning, then sometimes it can look rather like an entry for Agency of the Year rather than an entry for the particular category that you're looking for. It's good to have them written. It's good to choose carefully who writes or reviews the entry. It's often, in a marketing sense, not good to have someone technical or perhaps your CEO write the awards entry. In a technical set of awards, it's usually not great to have the CEO write the awards entry. In fact, it's usually not great to have the CEO write the awards entry at all. The best person to write it is the person who can tell the story the best. And often, actually, that's someone who hasn't been directly involved in the project. It's someone who can come in, look at it, and then see what's been remarkable, see what has been superb about the marketing project or about the construction project that you are entering, and tell the story really, really well. Successful entries also remember that they are pitching at someone who knows nothing about the business. I've said this before, pretend it's the FD. Pretend that you are telling somebody this story who knows nothing about your business or even your sector. And then you have better chance of success. Making it pretty in the internal pages, this is actually a graphic from a successful entry a couple of years ago on the Construction Marketing Awards. It just shows what they did in an interesting and graphical way, picture painting 1,000 words, which also saves you some words in the submission. So spend time on the design and layout, highlight the key messages with appropriate images, use charts and graphs, all these things, just as they would in a business report to your boss. They make the judge's life easier in understanding what is going on. And finally, final tip, don't try to do it on the side of everything else that you are trying to do. Putting together a good award entry takes time, effort, and sometimes money. Allocate all of those. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Indeed, it's not worth doing if you're not going to do it well, as only one other person has to do it better than you for you to lose. So put someone in charge. Give them the information, the resources, the time and the money they need to put together the best entry your organisation can manage. Point a champion to this project. This is a really important piece of effort for you, or you wouldn't be doing it. So do it properly. That's the tips. We're now going to talk about some aspects of what planning for success, as I said, what you might do if you win. And in fact, you can start doing that before you win. Should you be shortlisted, being shortlisted for a set of awards is an achievement in itself. You have beaten out sometimes hundreds of other people just to get to the shortlist. So be proud of that. You are a finalist in the Construction Marketing Awards if you have made the shortlist. We provide you with a logo to use. So use it, put it on your auto signatures, and so on. Send out a press release. You have been shortlisted. Some people think, why would I send out a press release that I've been shortlisted? Because then, if I don't win, people will ask me what happened. That just doesn't happen. If you send out a press release to your local paper, they'll happily publish it that you've been a finalist. If you then don't send them a press release to tell them that you didn't win, they won't publish that because that's not. You haven't sent it to them, and it's not news. No one will ever know that you didn't win. So use the fact that you've been shortlisted, put it out there, PR it, make sure that people know that you were in it. And even after the awards have been and gone and someone else has won, still say that you were the finalist, because it really matters. You can use the judges' comments in your PR and in your year-long campaigns. What did they say about you? your project was a triumph of good sense, I see on the screen. These are real judges' comments from Construction Marketing Awards last year, showing that with the judges saying positive things about you, these judges are independent, they are respected. People think that they know what they're talking about, and to have them say this about you is a real bonus for your company. If you win, well done. You've planned for this, obviously, so you now know what you're going to do. Display the trophy. Don't just put it on your desk. The company's won, so put the trophy in reception, put it in the staff canteen. What was it for? Remember that back at the beginning? What was your goal? Did you seek to win for internal purposes, for internal communications? If you did, then yeah, the staff canteen will be a great place because everyone will see it when they're getting hold of their sausage and chips. If it's to win business, if it's to impress people, then you need to put it onto into your reception so your visitors see it. Have you got more than one reception? Well, buy an extra trophy. Every award scheme in the world will happily sell you an extra trophy. It doesn't cost that much money, and then you can have one in every reception that you have. This means that all of your visitors all over the country, wherever they are, will see that you have won this award. This is another real example from one of the agencies who's a supporter, actually, of the Construction Marketing Awards. This is the bottom of David Ing's email. It says, I'm a CMA finalist. It says, I'm a Marketing Awards finalist. It says, I'm one of the top 100 agencies. And other people will have similar, although perhaps less pretty, email auto-signatures that will tell people what they've done and what they've achieved. And this is really important. Your company will send many thousands of emails every day. So every time they do, here you are reinforcing what's going on and your credentials and your award wins by using them in a way that your customers will subliminally absorb. Another way of doing it, and we are in the construction sector, you can put it on your hoardings. You can see there in the middle. Mansell won the building awards, major contractor of the year. Fabulous. There it is on their awards, on their hoardings outside all of the projects that they're working on. That costs nothing usually. Also costing nothing are things like stationery and invoices and packaging. Put it on all your business cards. Obviously, you'll put it on your brochures, won't you? Would you put it in your toilets? It's a place where you could put posters up if you want your staff to know. That's for sure. Obviously, your reception, I've mentioned, the lifts. Anywhere where people are spending any dwell time, you can put up a poster that says that you've won. And of course, over on the right there, don't forget to put it on your own CV. It is a statistical fact that people who win awards are 25% more likely to move upwards in their career once they've done it, but that they are 100% more likely to do that if they have mentioned it on their CV. So put it on because it's a real achievement. Right, now we have done our top 10 tips. I have done a little bit of, so what am I going to do if I win? And now I'm hoping that among the many thousands of you listening to this, firstly that some of you are still listening, and secondly that there are a number of questions going to head my way. And Michael, I think you're going to send some over to me.
Hello Ross, yes, we have some questions for you.
Good.
The first one is, for the Construction Marketing Awards, is there a word limit and how strict is it?
Okay, well, there is a word limit. I mean, the thing to know about, again, we'll go back to read the instructions. On the website for the Construction Marketing Awards, it explains to you how to enter. It tells you how many words to use in different places. With the Construction Marketing Awards in particular, it says 1,000 words for your full entry, and that is a guide on the Construction Marketing Awards. We will still look at words that have gone past that up to a reasonable point. So usually my advice is don't go beyond 1,500. What it really means is don't give us 10,000 words on the Construction Marketing Awards. On other award schemes, you might find that the word limit is much stricter. There may be other kinds of limits on material. I know that some of the RIBA awards for completed projects, for example, will only allow the submission of a fixed number of images. So if you go over the number of images, they will exclude some of them, and they're quite strict about that. But with Construction Marketing Awards, as I say, the word limit is more of a guide than a rule. But as I say, it's 1,000, so keep it under 1,500, and your entry will still be read.
Okay. I've seen there's a blog category in this year's Construction Marketing Awards. How does that work?
Okay, well that's a new category for this year, the blog category. I mean, we looked around and we see that increasingly there are people writing blogs. There are companies, product manufacturing companies whose technical experts might write a blog about the company's attitude to BIM or the value of sustainability in the particular market that they're in. It's increasingly common that might be happening, or it might just be someone who's just really passionate about some particular piece of construction equipment, for example, or something, and they're just writing a blog. What we thought was, they're an increasingly credible and useful media choice for construction marketers on the one hand, and on the other hand, they're an increasingly good way for product manufacturers or consultants to communicate a specific area of expertise and to emphasize it in their communications. And what we wanted to do was to set up an opportunity for those to be celebrated for the ones that are really good. So the idea is that people, anyone, not necessarily the author of the blog or the company that produces it, but anybody can nominate this blog, and there is a page on the Construction Marketing Awards website for you to nominate. Once we've collected in a load of nominations, we will then open up to a public vote, and people will be able to cast a vote for the blog that they think is the best of the ones that have been nominated. And then after we've collected in votes from the construction marketing community, we will then use that to define a kind of top 10, from which the judges will make a choice for a winner, because we still feel that we don't want it just to be a straightforward public vote. We want there to be some kind of judging on effectiveness of the blog. So people will, at that point, the blogger or the nominator will be asked to submit a few extra pieces of information to help the judges make a choice. The judges will make a choice, and then we'll find out who the winner is at the same time as the rest of the categories.
Okay. Can I find any more information and help on doing a good entry?
Well, the best place, again, I'm going to refer you to the Construction Marketing Awards website, which is cmawards.co.uk. There is a section there called How to Enter. Now that section has quite a lot of the information that I have talked about today and more, and it will give you tips and tricks on making your entry fit the Construction Marketing Awards. I think, apart from that, if you're talking about another awards scheme, the best way you can find more information about doing a good entry is to, 1, read their instructions, 2, check their entry criteria, 3, follow all the top tips that I've talked about, but to start off with the instructions and the key awards criteria, and make sure that you really get inside those.
Okay. My director said there's no point in entering as we compete with a large company who she thinks would win. What can I say to persuade her we should enter?
Okay. Well, I mean, the first thing to say is that your massive company who you compete with are only bound to win if, 1, they're good, and 2, they actually enter. So the first question I say is, are you certain they're going to enter? And she can't be, your director, unless she's some sort of Kim Philby style spy who knows exactly what's going on at the other end of the competitor. And also, for pretty much all the awards schemes I've ever been involved in, scale is no ticket to victory. It's about what you do, how you do it, and what the results are. So if your return on investment uses typically profitability rather than actual gross profit as its metric. So if you are more profitable, you can still be turning over less than your larger competitor, but you will be delivering better work. And I think those are the two angles. It's just for one, they might not be entering, and for two, they might not actually be as good as you at what they're doing. They might just be bigger, and being bigger is, as I say, no ticket to victory. The other thing is, of course, to remember, if you do enter and you don't win, you don't have to say anything. But if you do enter and you happen to beat them, then that is a great piece of publicity. So again, there's a kind of no-lose situation there, where you can, where the win side is really, really good and the lose side is just the same as you are today. So I tell your boss that she should really forget the idea of losing, and as I said right at the beginning, plan for some success. You're likely to have more success if you plan for it.
Okay, Ross, that's all the questions. Thank you.
Oh, okay, all right, great. Well, I hope everyone's enjoyed it and found it useful and interesting. If you have any questions, I've just stuck up my contact details on the screen. Feel free to contact me directly, or to go through the Construction Marketing Awards website. There's contact details on there if your question is specific to them. So thanks very much for listening, and I look forward to seeing your entries in the autumn. Thank you.